everyone. Good evening.
Hello everyone, good evening. It's good to have
Yeah,
you here today.
we've
And today we want to talk about
Algebra.
algebra. Okay, when we started this series of mathematics, we started with the branches of mathematics, and we said we have two branches. One is the numerals and the other is the algebra. The numeral part is that part of mathematics in which only numbers are dealt with. You see, all the other series we have done so far, so we're only talking about numbers and fraction and the likes. But this time around, we want to go into algebra, which has to do with, you know, including letters in mathematics. That is introducing letters in mathematics. So what do all those letters, what do they stand for? So whenever we have an expression that has letters in it, we know we are dealing with algebra. So the first thing we need to look at when we talk about algebra, for instance, let's talk about x. Now this x you are looking at, in algebra we call it variable.
Okay.
We call this one a variable. Hmm? Okay. Now to its left hand side, normally there is a number that is usually attached to x. So let's represent that number by a variable also. Let's say the number is a, and we call this one coefficients. Again,
Okay.
coefficients.
Okay.
Then also there is also something we call power. It's also at the top right end of that variable, so we call it power. Okay, so the main letter here is the x, and this one that is attached to it is also a letter, but that letter is also representing a number. Even the x we are talking about is also representing a number, because when we put it in an equation, we'll be able to find what that letter stands for. Okay,
And remember, this is all about mathematics.
yeah. So at this point, now let's see some examples. Like when we see 2x, 2x is an expression so that involves 2 and x. So this 2 is multiplying the x, and this 2 is a number, and x is the letter here. And when there is nothing like power here, it shows that that power is 1. So when there is nothing here, the power we have here is 1. And even if we write x like this, the coefficient is 1 here, and the power is 1 here, which means if you write x like this, that x, the coefficient of that x is 1, and the power is also 1. Now we could also have, letters multiplying and adding each other. Like for instance, when we say x times x, is going to be x raised to power 2. That is the power. Whenever we are dealing with power, that is x is raised to power 1, and another x is raised to power 1 here. So what this one tells us is that whenever we multiply x and x together, we are going to do what? Add their power. So that's going to be x raised to power 1 plus 1, and that's going to be x raised to power 2. Do you see that? So what about when we have the letters adding each other? When we say x plus x, so when they are adding each other, it is the coefficients that we add together. So this time around, the coefficient of x here is what? 1. The coefficient of x here is 1. So this time around, we are adding the coefficients. So, and that's going to be 1x plus 1x, and that will be 2x. Do we see that?
Yeah.
So when they are multiplying, it is the power that we are going to add together. But when they are adding each other, so it is the coefficients that we had together. So in that situation, this x must have exactly the same power as this, which means if this one is 1 as it is here, this one must also be 1. So that means 1x raised to power 1 plus 1x raised to power 1 is going to be 2x raised to power 1.
Yeah, but how about you do 2x plus 2x?
Okay, now when we have 2x plus 2x, so this is going to be 2x plus 2x, that is 2 plus 2. So we are adding the coefficients. It's going to be 4x. Okay, so what about if we have 3x plus 2x? That is going to be what? 5x, right?
Okay.
So this is what we call addition in algebra. So for addition to take place, the x must have the same power before we can add them together. So it will not be possible for us to see 2x plus 3x squared and we say we want to add them together. So these two like this cannot be added together because the power of this one is 1 and the power of this one is 2. Because of that, we cannot add them together. Do you see that?
Okay.
So the only thing we can do here is what we call factorization, which we are going to deal with later. So the answer to this question is going to be 2x plus 3x squared.
Okay.
Okay, so what about when we have 5x minus 2x plus 3x minus x? What is going to be our answer? So in this case, first of all, we should note that the x, the variables, they are all the same. That is 1. They all have the same power. The power of this is 1, power of this is 1, power of x is 1, power of x is 1 here. So we can now add them together since they all have the same x. So at this point, it's going to be 5 minus 2x is going to be 3x, right? And then 3x plus 3x is going to be 6x. And 6x minus 1x. Because when there is nothing written here, it means it is 1. And that's going to be 5x. So another way to look at it is to take all the term with negative coefficient, just bring them together, and the terms with positive coefficient, bring them together. You add them, the ones with negative, you add them. When you subtract, you're still going to get the same answer. Like in the case of this one, it says it's going to be 5x plus 3x is going to be 8x, and minus 2x minus x is going to be minus 3x, and 8x minus 3x is going to be 5x. Another way is minus 2x minus x is minus 3x, and this is plus 3x. Minus 3x plus 2 minus 3x plus 3x is going to be 0, and we are going to be left with 5x. So this is how we go about adding in algebra.
Okay.
So another thing we should also note also is when we have minus 3x plus 4x minus 2y minus 3y. So what's going to be our solution to this? So in the case of this one, what we see here is that we now have two variables. When we have two variables, the variables, they are different, and when the variables are different, you know, you cannot add them together. Even if they are the same and they have different powers, we cannot add them. So not to talk of when they are entirely different. So for this one, minus 3x will add 4x, while minus 2y will add minus 3y. So this is going to be minus 3x plus 4x is going to be x, because minus 3 plus 4 is going to be 1. And minus 2y minus 3y, that's going to be what? Minus 5y. Minus 5y. So this is the final answer. So this is how we solve this problem. So when we have 3x squared minus 2x minus 5x squared minus 4x plus 4x minus 3. What about this? We want to solve this problem. How do we simplify this expression? So what we're going to do here is to take the term, because each of these is a term, like we have dealt with in the numeral parts of mathematics. So we know they are separated by minus and plus, so we know that each of these is a term. This is a term, this is a term, this is a term, this is a term, this is a term. So now we will now collect the like terms, the terms that are the same, that are having the same variable, like 3x squared and minus 5x squared. They have the same variable, so we can collect them together. So this is going to be 3x squared minus 5x squared, and this is going to be minus 2x plus 4x minus 3. You can see this one does not have any letter. It's just a constant. We call it constant. So if it does not have any variable attached to it, it's a constant. So this is now going to be 3x squared minus 5x squared. That is going to be minus 2x squared. And minus 2x plus 4x is going to be plus 2x minus 3. So this is the final answer of this expression. So this is how we simplify in mathematics. So for addition to take place, now what we do is we collect the like terms, the terms that are the same. If they have the same variable, which is x, and that variable, they are also having the same power. So that is when we know that they are of the same, they are of like terms. So that is when we will be able to add them together. If they don't have the same power, we cannot add them together. In the case of this one, you see the power of this one is 2 and the power of this one is 1. We cannot add them. We cannot say because it is still x. We cannot use this term to add this term. No, it's not acceptable. So that is mathematics for us. So minus 3, another example, x plus 4y minus 3y squared plus 4x squared minus 5. Now what is the addition of this expression? The final answer to this expression, if you look at it, is there anything that can add each other here? Here we can see that here none of the numbers can add each other, because for this x, this one is having a power 1 while this one is having a power 2, so we cannot add them together. And this is having power 1, this is also having power 2, we cannot add them together. And this one is having what? is a constant, so we cannot add it to any of this. So in that case, the final answer is still the same question given, which is the same. We don't change anything. We can only arrange, or probably we just put the ones with x on one side, while the ones with y on the other side. So we can just say 3x plus 4x squared, if you like. Just rearrange. It doesn't change anything. We can rearrange and mix everything up the way we like. That is, put any term which is on the front to the back to the front. It does not change anything. So 4y minus 3y squared minus 5. So it's just rearrangement. So, and that's the final answer. Nothing can be done further. It's not as if nothing can be done further, but we have not gotten to that stage. When we get there, we'll get to the bridge, we'll cross it. So okay, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also press the notification bell so that when we upload videos, you will be notified.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
also do comments.
Yeah, comment on this and let us see what you have to say.